Hello everyone, welcome to Fireside Chat with Shaifali Season 2. As we all know, year 2022 marks the 70th anniversary of the India-Japan Diplomatic Relationship Establishment. IJBC is celebrating this momentous year by hosting a series of events that includes business sessions, lectures, cultural programs, and more. Let us work together to forge a vibrant India-Japan relationship for future generations. For more details, please visit our official website www.ijbc.org. So today I'm having an important guest, Dr. Mahesh Gogate. Dr. Mahesh Gogate is an affiliate researcher in Kyoto University, Kyoto, Japan. Okay, so about Dr. Mahesh Gogate, it won't be possible for me to elaborate each and everything in his profile or to give a proper introduction because he's having such a knowledge and his educational profile to work. It's such elaborated that I prefer to, go one by one and talk with him. But basically, Dr. Mahesh Gogate started his journey as by doing Bachelor of Commerce from Chintaman Rao College of Commerce, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, India. Diploma in Advanced Computer Arts, Center for Development of Advanced Computing, CTech, Pune, India. Beka International Program, Doshisha University, Kyoto, Japan. Then he started with his as a research student, Graduate School of Asian and African Area Studies, Kyoto University, Kyoto, Japan. Master's Program, Graduate School of Asian and African Area Studies, Kyoto University, Kyoto, Japan. His thesis was based on water bodies and modern urbanization, debating the urban ecologies of Varanasi, India. He also started doing his doctoral program, Graduate School of Asian and African Area Studies, Kyoto University, Kyoto, Japan. Dissertation report of his was on making heritage ecologies, urbanization, and water bodies of Varanasi, India. So welcome, Dr. Mahesh Gogate. Thank you very much for giving your time for this, a small chat show, Fireside Chat with Shaifali.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shaifali.
So Dr. Mahesh, I would start with your journey. Like you started your education, you have your education in graphic designing, or all over it was related to computers.
Yes.
How your interest was grown to towards Japanese language?
Yeah, now this goes back to almost 20 years because at that time I came to Pune after my graduation and I started working with various software development companies. And then I realized that with my limited knowledge of graphics, as in the introduction, you already introduced that I am graduated from Bachelor of Commerce, so no proper proper knowledge of graphics and other softwares. So I started my journey as a graphic designer by working directly in that field. But then I found that there are some limitations which I cannot overcome in a limited time. So I discussed with my friends, and then at that time, Ranade Institute already started various language programs, foreign language programs. And I asked some of my friends, they advised me that German is very difficult. Spanish, you will not get so many opportunities. So the remaining option was Japanese. And I was told that Japanese is not very difficult. It was partly true, but then I believed on them and I joined the Japanese language. Basically, it was to add a new a tool which will give me various opportunities, which will strengthen my resume. If I know 1 or 2 foreign languages, that will also give me a leverage to work and to explore new things. So that was the proper motivation for learning a Japanese language. And it was started in 2002 when I joined Ranade Institute of Pune University.
Dr. Mahesh, this is the first time I'm hearing that Japanese language is not that difficult, because every time, in fact, I was also a student of Japanese language, and I can say long way to go for me, because every now and then I'm not able to, cope up with that. So this is the first time I'm listening that Japanese language is
No,
bit easy.
it's a half truth, because the grammar of Japanese language is very similar. There are lots of similarities. If you have a sentence structure, for example, I'm from Maharashtra, so Marathi or Hindi, that for that matter, the Japanese language structure is also the same. The sentence structure is exactly the same. So it's very it is different than English language, and even the grammar part is not very difficult. Now, the most challenging part for foreign students is the kanji, the pictorial script, where we need a lot of patience, where we need a lot of hard work. Even I did not give a lot of attention to Japanese kanji, the script. And that's why after some years, the progress of my Japanese language stopped somewhere. And then due to various other reasons, I could not excel, I could not appear for um, uh, the first level of Japanese language. Then I thought that, okay, I can speak a little bit Japanese, I can read a little bit, so let me stop here. And as you said, that it's a difficult language, but certainly there are certain areas where you can become you can pick up those things very fast because of your own mother tongue and our own original languages.
Sure. And if I'm not wrong, right now you are having a really good hands-on Japanese language, because you are living also in Japan.
Yes.
So, yeah.
You want to meet?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Now I left India. I thought that was also a crucial decision in my life. I used to work in a software development, a software design, software development company here in Pune. And after my marriage, me and my wife stayed separately. I was in India, she was in Japan, but then I thought that, okay, let's quit the job and go to Japan and live together. So I quit the company and I went to Japan in 2010. So now almost 12 years I'm living in Japan. But frankly speaking, my level or my expertise in Japanese has not increased. I do study a little bit Japanese, but then there are certain limitations once you start, and then once you realize that you know certain things, and because other responsibilities, I cannot give a lot of time to improve my Japanese language.
Sure. And when you started learning Japanese language, like back in 2002, was it really difficult or easy at that time? Because right now the scenario is we are having so many tools, we are having so many books, we are having so many institutes also.
Yes.
And you can watch the series as well for your listening practice. So was it difficult at that time, or it was okay to learn the Japanese language?
Yeah, probably because these tools were not available. We did not know that technology will improve and we will have online translations, online dictionaries. At that time, I still remember I used to collect some of the money. I used to collect money to buy the paper dictionaries. Random House, I think the name of the dictionary, which I bought to learn Japanese language. Then I also requested and I also borrowed Japanese languages from my senior friends so that I can search the words. But now things are very easy. And now because we have smartphones and because of Google Lens, now you do not have to depend upon paper dictionaries to carry the bulk dictionaries. And even at that time, I still remember that I used to borrow cassettes, tapes, and to listen to the Japanese conversation, because as you know, we have this listening test for the Japanese language proficiency test. So I used to borrow the cassettes. Now you don't need cassette, you don't need CDs. Now you have everything online, and just click and you're connected. But because these things were not there at that time, almost 20 years back, we, in a sense, I still remember talking with my very senior Japanese teacher or friend, who is very famous actually. He said that technology is good, but that also makes you very dependent upon these tools. If you don't have these tools, then you are a handicap. Okay, now handicap is the word I'm not using specifically. Means you become helpless. So if you have given a lot of focus on learning these things by hand, by drawing this pictorial script and learning by heart, then you don't, technology will definitely give an advantage. But then you're not entirely dependent upon that thing. But it's like, yeah, the technology will certainly give you an added edge to excel, to understand more quickly. But then you also need to take a lot of efforts. It's not like that technology will improve your abilities. You have to do that by yourself. So yeah, it becomes easy, but then again, it depends upon you, how much sincere you are, how much eagerness is there to learn a new language.
Yeah, I think it's really very important to practice a lot while learning not only Japanese but any other language. You have to practice a lot.
Yes.
So before quitting your job, have you been to Japan, or just after quitting your job, you first landed to Japan?
No, before even marriage, when I used to work in my previous companies, I got opportunity, but I stayed there only for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, not a very long time, a very limited stay, and mostly in Tokyo area. So even at that time also, I never thought that I will stay for such a long time, which now is happening with me. So at that time, I used to go only for a brief time period to go and meet clients and to work with them for few weeks and then come back to Pune, India. So it was not very long. I never stayed more than 1 month at that time. Hardly, I think 4 or 5 times I visited Japan before quitting and then finally moving to Japan.
So how was your experience when you were first visited to Japan for the first time? Like it must be what I'm hearing or what a lot of people hear, that there's a cultural shock because a lot of things are different in Japan and in India. So how was your experience?
Yeah, I still remember. It was, I think, 2004 or 2005 when I first went to Japan, and that was my first country. Before that, I never had an experience to travel outside India. So entirely everything was new for me. So even maybe people we will laugh, but the final announcement was our plane will land at Narita, and I was surprised that I'm going to Tokyo, and now where is this Narita? So even that kind of unawareness or excitement was there. And as you said, cultural shock in a very different way. I realized that since now I visited various other countries, I always think and I always felt that Japan is a very unique country. Once you land, whether it is Narita or Kansai or any other international airport in Japan, as you step in, as you step out, from that moment, you experience something unique about Japan. The way they have designed, the way they have built not only the airports, but entire country, the nation, it's something very unique, which for me, maybe it's my obsession about that country, but I never felt that uniqueness when I visited other countries in Europe or in America or even in Southeast Asia, for that matter. So it was a very pleasant experience, and I learned a lot. The process is still going on. Means every time I come across certain things that completely astonish me and completely force me to think that these people have invested so much mind and their efforts to build these small things which are very convenient to the citizens, to everyone. So while traveling, while doing a university program, while working with Japanese people, just having a simple chat and a dinner, you always experience something that is very Japanese. So it's a very interesting experience in the last almost 12 and more than that.
Sure. Okay. You started your coming back to your education. You started your education in bachelor's in commerce.
Yes.
And then you started your career in graphic designing. And now, if I see your background, it's completely different. If I'm not wrong.
Yes.
So, how this transition came into your way?
That is because what I think when I look back, it is because I come from a very small city. Actually, these labels which I put, they are not true, but relatively, Sangli is not a place where you get lots of opportunities. You have certain limitations which we need to understand. So at that time, I was not aware with these things. So I completed Bachelor of Commerce, but my main interest was in design. So I tried to join and work in graphics area, even though I did not have a proper formal education of graphic software. So I started learning these things while working. But then I realized that there are some limitations, and as I already explained, so I started an Japanese language, which gave me an added advantage, of course. Then I started interacting with the Japanese customers. I went to Japan with that. So besides of this graphic design, I started language, and that gave me an added advantage. It opened up lots of other opportunities for me. But when I went to Japan, we were living in a very small country on the Japan seaside, Hokuriku area or northern Japan, which is a very small city. And at that time, there were very few chance opportunities for me to continue my work in graphics. So I realized that, okay, let's explore in this city what I can do. And then I started teaching there. There is a Niigata university is there, Niigata University of Information. So I started teaching there Hindi language and about India. I had 2 courses there. And then since my wife is a professor, so there is an influence, a 24 hours influence. And meantime, I also worked with various Japanese researchers or as a coordinator and doing research for them in India. And then I somehow developed an interest in the research. And in 2014, when there was a new government, I thought that I should do something on Varanasi. And so I applied for the doctoral program. And I gave a written examination. I also completed all other formalities, interviews and other things. And I was selected for doctoral program. So it was like maybe a very there is no proper word for me right now to say or to describe it, but I don't know, things happened and I took the decision. And but that also that also happened because of certain other things also in my life. And yeah, that's how I can summarize right now.
Sure. Okay. You decided to, do your master's and doctoral on topics related to Varanasi. So,
Yeah.
how you selected the topic water bodies and modern urbanization?
When I talked with some of the professors, because once you decide that you want to do a doctoral program, you need to have a very informal kind of meetings with your professors, who will become the guide or supervisor for your doctoral program. So I used to discuss these things, and as I told, Varanasi became the constituency of our Prime Minister, and then Prime Minister also visited. His first visit to Japan was Kyoto, and then we had this Kyoto Varanasi partnership project also. So I thought that I should do something on Varanasi while doing a doctoral program here in Kyoto University, so that I can connect with these 2 things. And with that things in my mind, I also worked on this Kyoto Varanasi project. And at that time, when I visited Varanasi for the first time in 2014, I came across a very interesting and a very beautiful map, topographical map, which was prepared 200 years back. And at that time, city was depicted with various water bodies. So I started exploring the city, and I found that there are very few water bodies remain. So what happened with these water bodies? And somehow I started exploring that question, that research question. And fortunately, my guide, my panel, they also agreed that okay, you can work on this thing. So it all started with a small question, that where these water bodies are, means what happened with them, why there are very few water bodies remain. So it I can say, means if I want to summarize it in one sentence, it all started with a map. It's a 200-year-old map, a very beautiful, detailed map of Varanasi. And at that time, Varanasi was depicted with so many, I think, more than 70 to 80 water bodies. And my research shows that almost 60% of water bodies vanished. They were dried up, and structures were built on those sites. So with that question, I started my journey of a doctoral program, and I got admission for the doctoral program in 2016, and 2021 I got the doctoral degree from Kyoto University.
Wow, congratulations for
Thank
that.
you.
So right now you completed your doctoral program. So what next for you?
Now, since I completed my doctoral program, I work as an affiliated researcher with Kyoto University, and I also teach in various other universities, in Kansai University and also at Kyoto University. But because of pandemic, I did not visit. I did not get an opportunity to visit Varanasi. So last time, 2019 November, I was in Varanasi for my fieldwork, and I thought that I will come back again before I start writing my thesis for my dissertation. So that did not happen because the pandemic already started. So for last 3 years, I did not visit Varanasi. I did not I did not do any field work. So I will continue my research, and I'm also applying for various postdoctoral programs. And with that, and about doctoral program, that you only scratch the surface. The doctoral program is nothing more than that. Actually, the real journey has already means it's the just start of the journey. Now I'm writing a book based on my dissertation, academic book, non-fiction book. I hope that it will come out this year. So I will keep continue working on Varanasi. Varanasi is a very interesting. It's a sacred place, and the city has lots of things to tell us. I want to understand those things and continue my research on Varanasi.
Dr. Gupta, just on a personal note,
Yeah.
I really feel so happy that you are working on Varanasi project because it's my native place.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
God, okay. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I got the chance to go to Varanasi in 2021, and after many years, because I was not living there, and it's completely different. Means I think after 10 or 12 years I was being there. So
Okay.
it's completely different. Lot of infrastructure development is there, lot of things have been changed, and it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And obviously it's a holy place, so definitely one should go there. And now you are writing a book on that, so I'm waiting for it to come
Thank you.
out.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I did not know that. Oh, great. What a coincidence. It's the second home for me now. I'm visiting Varanasi since 2014. Every year, only these 3 last years, I did not go, and I'm still, I hope that this year or maybe the next year, I will be able to go and visit. There are so many people's friends and so many professors I want to meet and to reconnect with them. Yeah, but thank you for providing that information. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so beside this water bodies and the things about related to water, uh, Varanasi is also known for its cultural heritage. It's its holy place. So, have you written anything on that as well? Because somewhere I have seen one paper or publication you have done. It was related to. I'm sorry, I'm not finding it right now, but it was there. Um, heritage and ecology something.
Yes. Because as you know, since you are from that city, from this very ancient, one of the ancient cities of Bharat or India, many water bodies, or I will say kunda, the temple tanks, because in my dissertation, I referred them as the temple tanks and ponds. So these temple tanks are integral part of the temple structures. and a lot of attention was given by the makers, by the builders, by the construction artists when they built these structures. So these structures are not just mere water holding structures. If you study them, there is a great combination of art, nature, preservation of the water, of course, but a a social space also. Unfortunately, because of the urbanization, rapid urbanization, I will say, and in my dissertation, I also tried to focus on the Victorian discourse, where the British, first starting with East India Company, 1790, 1794, and then slowly the British Crown. Varanasi became a laboratory for these urban reformers. And because they wanted to completely change the city and based on the European model. So even the Victorian discourse of sanitation, safety, and modernity, those all things were massively applied on Varanasi. And my argument is that the city was a wet city before British came in. But because of British influence, because of this um, um, uh, sorry, authoritative regime, the city became dry. Now, what today is what we see today is a dry city. Uh, there were connections between these water bodies and with River Gangaji. If you know Assi, there is a very beautiful well called as my God, I forgot the name. It's a near the what a shame. Sorry. If you can remember that name for me, it's near Assi. It's near Durgakund. What a shame! What a shame! I'm so sorry. There are steps that goes down. Three sides. There are steps. I'm so sorry. Okay. So my point is that there are kunds and there are temple tanks which are closely connected, really interlinked with River Ganga. So these tanks were not only merely the water tanks, but they used to also manage the floods. So in my dissertation also, I call them as a heritage water heritage water spaces. And since they are integral part of temple, they provided lots of space for social activities, for cultural activities, for festival. I'm still trying to remember that name. It's not coming up. So as you rightly said, because it's an ancient city and there are lots of layers where we can go very deep to understand that these things were made with lots of attention, with lot of devotion, and somehow I was fortunate to meet lots of people, lots of researchers, lots of local people who became friends later to understand these things, which I think that uh, really helped me to understand Varanasi and to read a city and to understand it and to unlock it. So that's a very unique thing happened in my life, and I think that I'm fortunate that I completed my PhD, and yeah, I'm thankful.
Yes, thank you for describing all these things. And in fact, it's really wonderful to know how you added heritage and the holy place of Varanasi with water bodies. So it's really wonderful to know that, and it's an alarming situation for people to also to understand that water bodies are near to shrink situation, and we have to do something for that.
Yes. Uh, Fortunately, because Varanasi became one of the smart cities, it got integrated in the smart cities program, and also the Prasad and Hriday, these two union government programs were implemented in Varanasi, and that showing us lots of results. So many water bodies were reviewed. Re, Rejuvenated. A lot of things were happened, which I mentioned in my dissertation also, and a lot of attention were given to rejuvenate, mm, to regain. To reclaim these water bodies, which were almost like neglected for various reasons. Um, uh, so, and to add, I'm also fortunate that I completed this program from a Japanese university, since Indo-Japan Business Council is trying to, means your entire focus is on building these or strengthening these relationship between India and Japan. Um, Maybe it will help the students and the researchers who are thinking um, to to go and join Japanese universities. Of course, there are language barriers, language challenges, but in last 3 years, since I did not get any chance to visit India, uh, I was entirely dependent upon the university infrastructure, and the Kyoto University, various other universities in Japan, they are interlinked. So lots of books, lots of very rare books I got for free of cost through my university. And the university's infrastructure, the facilities, the connections, the entire environment which they have built. I'm not comparing here, so please don't get me wrong here. But my point is that we have to really strengthen our relationships. We can learn a lot, and we can teach them also lots of things. So it's a great opportunity for the students. I really hope that students will get inspiration and think as a Japan also a very good destination to complete their master's program. I'm not only talking about the humanities or social studies. Of course, the applied sciences and other sectors are there where you will get certainly a very different environment. Uh, so I request students to think upon these things also. That Japan will be also very one of the best countries where you can pursue your master's or doctoral program, because I I benefited a lot, and this doctoral program entirely changed the way I think about research. Uh, I learned a lot. So that's my a small uh, request to all those who will listen in this podcast, or sorry, this chat and this discussion. Okay.
Definitely, and I would also request, like, Japan is really a place where people student can think for doing their studies. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of people ask why Japan, or why not, every time when they think of going abroad for studies, definitely it comes like European countries, America,
Yes.
and Australia,
Yeah.
in fact New Zealand. Then
Yes.
I ask, why not Japan? Because if you keep apart that language barrier, I mean, a lot of Japanese universities or colleges now offering studies in English language as well,
Yes.
and a lot of benefits are also there. And I mean, people should think for that. So
Yes, yes.
definitely, it's a good option, and a lot of opportunities are also there.
Yeah.
So it was knowing a lot of things about your book, your journey, and coming back to your thesis on Varanasi. It was really wonderful to know all these things.
Thank
One
you.
thing more, you got a lot of research grants and fellowships.
Yes,
So how was what was the procedure you followed altogether there, because you was in Japan,
yes,
and the criterias
yep,
which it will help people who are listening, who will listen this chat. It will help them to know or understand that, okay, these are the criteria, these are the procedures we have to follow,
yeah,
to get these fellowships or research funds to
yes,
start with in Japan.
yeah. Now there is only one small difference, because most of the students they are in India and they are thinking to go to Japan for their master's program, for their higher studies, not only masters but various other studies. So in my case, since I was in Japan, I was like a Japanese student. They treated me like a Japanese student, and I had only a bachelor degree. I did not have a master's degree. So it started with my master's program. So there is only one difference, that if you are in India, you can apply for the MEC scholarships, the Japanese scholarships, while remaining in India. And once you got selected for that program, for that fellowship, and then things become easier. Then you do not have to worry upon, even you will get the airfare and lots of support. In my case, I have to go through the entire process like a Japanese student. So that will not be there for many students who are in India or in other countries and want to go to Japan. In their case, what you need to do is to connect with Japanese universities. They also offer various private financial grants, fellowships, which are now readily available on their websites. I think the Ministry of Cultural and I think science. I always forget the name of that ministry, but it's educational, and it's a one kind of it's a ministry. It's a central ministry of Japan. They publish the advertisements for their programs. I think. There are lots of other private scholarships are also available. So once you explore that, okay, these universities are there where I can enroll, or where I can really pursue my higher studies. And now most of the universities they have bilingual or lot of information available in English also. So while in India also, you can contact them, you can apply, you can submit your applications, and things have become easier. In my case, since I was in India, sorry, I was in Japan, so I had to go through the entire process, which will not be true with the Indian students. For them, they will get the fellowship first, and then they will start their program. So it is easy. It is easier than what happened with me, and. Lots of scholarships and fellowships which I got, they are private scholarships. I got the the, uh, uh, the Japanese scholarships from the Japanese government, but that was in the last 3 years of my doctoral program. Uh, Initially, the private scholarships like NTT Docomo scholarship and my university scholarship, that helped me to continue my studies. But once you get certain fellowships, you also get lots of opportunities where you can earn income for survival, for buying things, for getting lots of other extra benefits there. And now this is all available on the internet. What you have to do is just search to talk with people. I think JETRO centers, and I think IJBC will there are people in IJBC who will also guide these students. So it's not a very difficult thing. What you need to do is a very systematic search and to just pursue. That's all, I think.
Yes, definitely, because IJBC is working in that direction, and they formed a committee as well, which helps students who just want to, do the research work or higher education in Japan. So it will be beneficial for them, and maybe people like me also get benefited from them, like
Definitely.
because sometimes it happens, like students or working people are not having so much of time, or they get involved so much in their day-to-day activities or work, office work. It gets really difficult to search and dig out a lot of information from the internet. And if at some point, if we get things like certain information, or where we can talk to people like you, like other IJBC members who are committee members, or other people as well, it gets really helpful for students like me, or students like other working professionals as well. So it was really nice talking to you, Dr. Mahesh.
Thank you.
One thing more before going, I want to know, like, you have means Marathi is your native language, Hindi anyways we learn. There's not a big deal for, I think, for Indians. Apart from that, you also learn Japanese language, but you learned Sanskrit also. So how you got that motivation to learn Sanskrit language?
I will not claim that I'm an expert in that language. The process just started when I started reading the Kashikhand of Skanda Puran, because Kashikhand, 2 volumes, 100 total chapters, that gives a lot of information, and interestingly, geographic information, topographical information, weather, nature of Varanasi. So I wanted to read that, and then with my friends, with my relatives, I started reading the Sanskrit text, not the English translation. And because it is very important reference material, a primary source for my doctoral program, so I read the Sanskrit text, the Hindi translation, the English translation, and the Marathi text also, and which gave me a lot of important and incredible information of Varanasi, where I can map these water bodies through the text. So learning a little bit of Sanskrit language really helped me to understand city, its topography, and how the city described in this ancient sacred text. The Puranas, the Nibandhas, which we can roughly translate as digest, and other Sanskrit text. So there was a need, and so I thought that, okay, let's start a little bit with the help of students, and with the help of friends, and with the help of relatives. So Sanskrit, actually learning Sanskrit really helped me to understand this very important text composed in Sanskrit language for my doctoral program.
Sure. Okay. Apart from all these things, like your journey, your education, your thesis, I would like to know what Dr. Mahesh do in his free time, if he gets, actually.
No, I get a lot of free time. Most of the free time, when I'm free, I'm not working, I'm not reading, I'm not studying. I have a 5-year-old son. So entire focus is on him. I play with him and spend a lot of time with him, because he needs a lot of attention. He needs a lot of time from me. which I'm fortunate to give him. So right now, in last 3-4 years, he's the one to whom with I spend a lot of time when I'm free, and I'm very happy about that. So, but other than that, uh, reading and collecting books, maps, on historical maps, ancient maps, that became a passion, and I'm trying to collect information about Varanasi in various languages. So if it is available in Telugu, if it is, even if it is available on Kannada, I want to find out. I want to make a repository where I can have a variety of resources available for me, irrespective of the languages. And we have so many regional languages, rich culture. So when I started collecting things on Varanasi, even in my mother tongue, Marathi, I was surprised that so many people from Maharashtra at that time there was no Maharashtra, but from this region, they they went to Varanasi for their higher studies, and they stayed there, they learned, they came back, and they wrote a lot of things on Varanasi. And these texts, fortunately, are available. These manuscripts are available, which I'm trying to collect, to buy, so that I will be able to understand the city more. So these are few things where I'm able to spend my time, free time.
Sure. So anything you, before we close this interview, anything you want to tell to people who are going to listen this interview from the platform of IJBC?
First of all, thank you, Shaifali, and thank you, IJBC, for giving me this opportunity. I'm really grateful for all the members, for all the supporters, for all the people who are part of this IJBC. Uh, uh, I'm not a business person, so I don't know, because I cannot comment on that. But I certainly think that we have to seriously think about giving our own small contribution to bring these countries closer enough. Japan has already a um, uh, very strong bonding with India after our independence. Um, Unfortunately, the prime ministers, the state governments, they are putting a lot of efforts to connect with Japan, and Japan also wants to connect on various things with India. Whether it is business, whether it is technological things, whether it is defense, there are lots of things to explore upon, and I think the Japan is the best destination where we can explore, where we can learn, where we can enrich ourselves. Mere visiting Japan, I will say, will entirely change your thinking. I'm not making a big claim here, but I certainly think in my life, being in Japan has really changed, transformed my understanding, the way I look, the way I think. There's a lot of influence on a very good influence of Japan. So I will really encourage that if you have time, if you have money, and if you want to go outside India, I will say that please visit Japan, because it will give you a lot of things, which will which will bring a lot of things in your life. So that's a small thing, and since I'm now in academics or in research, I've just started. I'm not picking. I still call myself as a student. I will certainly request all those students who are thinking going outside India for their higher studies to seriously think about Japan. And I think IJBC, with their own expertise, with their own members, will help these students. So my all best wishes to IJBC and also to the students.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mahesh, for your kind words, and we will definitely work on that way to help our Indian students and whoever want to get the benefit. So we are trying our best, and hopefully we'll reach to our own goals.
Yes,
So thank you very much joining me today in this conversation, in this fireside chat with Shaifali.
entirely pleasure is mine. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shaifali.
Thank you.
Best wishes.
So that was Dr. Mahesh Gogate, who is in Japan and doing his research work about Japan, about Varanasi, its water bodies, who is shrinking now. But we are wishing him all the very best to do a lot of research work and waiting for his book, who is going to come out maybe this year, or we will wait when it comes.
Thank you.
He is also bridging a gap between India and Japan through his knowledge, through his study, through his education. So I would promise to bring more such more important guests in my fireside chat with Shaifali. So stay tuned with me. Don't forget to visit our website www.ijbc.org for more details on upcoming events. Also, don't forget to subscribe our IJBC official YouTube channel. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.